The room was filled with applause, but for Hakeem, the loudest sound was the echo of the past. The thunder of clapping hands seemed distant compared to the whisper of memories rising inside him. In that crowded chamber, beneath the blinding flash of cameras, he could almost see a wooden chair in a quiet Brooklyn home. On it sat his grandfather, Bible in hand, whispering words of faith, words that carried through time. Someday, his voice seemed to say, things will change. That vision clung to Hakeem's heart as he stood there, hand pressed against the same Bible that had once trembled in his grandfather's grasp. He knew this moment was larger than the oath, larger than the politics of the day. It was bigger than titles, bigger than power. This was the fulfillment of a prayer, a promise stitched together by the sacrifices of those who came before him. For Hakeem, the Bible was alive. Its cracked leather and worn edges held generations of hope. Its pages were not just scripture. They were testimony. Testimony of a man who had walked streets lined with segregation, of a family that had carried dignity through storms, of ancestors who had been denied, yet never gave up. Every crease in that book was a scar of survival, every faded mark a story of struggle. And now, in Washington, inside the halls of American power, that Bible bore witness to something its owner could never have imagined, his grandson standing tall as the leader of a party once closed to men like him. The applause rained down, but Hakeem felt a different sound, a deeper rhythm, the beating of his grandfather's prayers echoing through his own chest. This moment was not just about politics. It was about America's promise, fragile yet unbroken. A promise that a boy from Brooklyn, raised without privilege, once judged for the color of his skin, could rise to lead. A promise that faith and resilience could carve a path where none seemed to exist. And that promise was sealed not by the applause of lawmakers, but by the silent weight of a weathered Bible. As his hand rested firmly on it, Hakeem felt the strength of his parents, who had sacrificed so he could dream bigger than they ever dared. He felt the courage of nameless ancestors who had endured without ever tasting freedom. He felt the tears of his grandfather, who never lived to see this day but had carried it in his prayers. This was not just his victory, it was theirs. Every ancestor, every parent, every silent dreamer was standing in that chamber with him. The oath ended. The applause swelled again, louder, fiercer, shaking the chamber. Hakeem lifted his eyes, steady and unshaken, toward the rows of lawmakers before him. He was no longer just a congressman, no longer just a leader of his party. He was the embodiment of resilience. He was the boy who once sat quietly in Brooklyn classrooms, underestimated and overlooked, now rising at the heart of American history.
Whose inspiring story of politician would you like to hear next? Tell us in the comments below.